Alright guys, so I promised I was going to film this video today, so we're going to film it. I'm sitting in the living room at my dad's house right now. I was going to film on my phone, but I need my phone to go through my financial stuff. So before I get started, I just feel like be respectful. I feel like commenting on someone else's personal finances should be always respectful, and also just recognize that I know I'm not perfect. I've made a lot of financial mistakes throughout my 20s and probably still making some currently, but we're just addressing what I feel like is my current status. So I think the last time I made this video was I was still at my old job, so it was like it's been a minute. So I'm gonna go through my last couple of paychecks. So, well, actually, first let me talk about, maybe I should go over my income first and then go through my expenses. So I currently make $20.50 an hour after getting a 50-cent raise earlier this year because I hit over 6 months at my job, and my supervisor at the time said I was eligible for a raise. Praise God, I was super happy about that. And I'm very, very grateful that I was one of the people considered for that and eligible for that, because I have gotten a lot of positive responses from people at my job on a number of things. So, expense? Is this my pay? What the heck? So usually, I was like, why can't I see the pay? They changed where it was. So this is the thing. My last paycheck, I worked a total of 71, or I had a total of 71 hours and 48 cents. My gross and 48 minutes. 71.48 hours, actually, not minutes. And my total before tax was $1,528. But what I took home, y'all, was $865.71. I'm going to break that down. So I actually used 18 hours of PTO that pay period. This is my most recent one from last week. And then I only actually worked 53 hours and 48 cents. So what comes out? I paid $236.56 in my taxes. And then I had $425.82 come out of that, of my gross pay. So I have my dental, my vision, and then this is the reason that I feel like I'm really setting myself back. So my company works with this app called Rain Paycheck, and basically you can borrow money from your current paycheck to pay for an expense, and it only allows you to take out up to 50% of your paycheck, so you still have at least 50% of your paycheck by your next pay period. So it kind of does limit you so that you still get a paycheck every 2 weeks. But that pay period, y'all, I had taken out $407.98 out of my, or actually probably not 400 total, but there's like a $3.99 fee every time you take it out as well. So I think I took out a little under 400, and I don't remember what I took it out for, but it's probably to cover a bill. So I'll go over my bills after that. So that's why it's like I'm making my gross pay before taxes. So if I hadn't taken that out, I would have gotten a paycheck that was at least $1,200. But I've been using Rain, and this is a habit I'm trying to get out of, to help cover expenses because I've been falling behind on my budget slightly due to overspending. So that's that. But the other part of it is I don't get the same amount every paycheck. So I guess without showing all the dates, this is my paychecks for this year so far. So we had $804 was my first one. Then we had $627, $663, and then my last one was $865. And my next paycheck will probably be about that same amount, like $800. I'm hoping, because the thing is my hours fluctuate from week to week. So let's go through my timesheet and my hours. On average, I work 30 hours a week, but it does fluctuate. This week, I worked 38 hours, so that was a really good week. Last week, I worked only 25 hours. And the week before that, 31 hours. The week before that, 33. The week before that, I didn't even actually work. I actually didn't work some of those because I had 18 hours of PTO the week that I got 33. So that's the PTO I got paid. 18 hours of that 33 hours was actually PTO I used. So I actually did it. And that was because I was sick. I missed 3 days of work. So my paychecks fluctuate because my hours at my job fluctuate, which makes it kind of difficult to plan for each paycheck because, as y'all saw, I had some paychecks that were 800, some that were 600, and then the reason I end up borrowing from future paychecks, which is why I end up taking 400, because if I'm only getting $600 every 2 weeks, I had to borrow money from a previous paycheck to cover my expenses, which I'm about to go over with y'all. I didn't write all my expenses down, but on a good month, so say most weeks I get 35 hours a week, my paychecks would be about $3,000 a month before taxes are taken out. Taxes is gonna take like $400 to $500 of that out, so that's the annoying part. Taxes, paying taxes, income taxes are a scam. That's why I personally don't like taxes, but you know, we all gotta pay them. So anyways, my main expenses are my car insurance, which just went up to $200. Hate that for me. I've never had to pay over $200 for my car insurance, but that's also kind of my fault because of the tickets. On my record, I have points on my record now. That's a whole long story, but it's just consequences of my actions, essentially. So now I also have to pay higher insurance, and also because my credit score is not the best. I have differing credit scores also, so I'm not actually sure which credit score is the correct, because my Experian credit score is way better than the TransUnion one. So I don't know, but we're in the not very good credit. We're on the poor side of that. So I do also I need to rebuild my credit because it is not good. But exciting thing is I just got the electricity and for the house is going to be in my name starting this month actually. And I didn't have to pay the security deposit, so my credit must look good somewhere, because they said they do a credit check to see if you have to do the deposit, and I didn't have to. So maybe that's just because previous times I had Georgia Power or had electricity in my name, I was never late or missed a bill because I pay my bills. My bills are paid. Like, I can be broke, but my bills are still paid. It's just broke because I'm broke because my bills are paid. Anyways, my car insurance is like $204 now. My phone bill is still $25 a month. I have Visible Plus. This is Visible by Verizon. This is what I use. And if I sign in, I'll show y'all. My bill is $25 a month. And it's under Verizon. I can't remember how it worked. Dang, all of my apps saying I need to update, and I don't feel like doing that. You were the word. Well, I can't show y'all the app until it, but That's one of my bills. The other, what's my other ones? Food, gas. My Apple bill is $9.99 a month. My Apple bill always comes out of my account at like the most inconvenience of time. It could be like I'm stressed out about something and Apple want to charge me $10 for that stupid storage, which I feel like is the biggest scam in the world. And then Apple is still telling me I'm out of my 2 terabytes of storage that I pay $10 a month for and I need to upgrade. And it's not happening, babes. Apple, you will not get another dime out of me. I refuse. So we're going to have to figure out the storage. I have an iPhone 11 for anyone wondering what I use. My phone is paid off in full, so I don't have to pay anything for that. I don't have a car note. I paid my car cash, used. I don't have a car note. Great. So my budget for food and gas, actually, you know what? I should go. Well, we are currently, maybe I should have started the video. Currently, we are broke. We're broke until I get paid. And that's just kind of what I'm, hold up. Apparently, I'm eligible for something new. I don't want to do this right now. We're gonna exit this. Okay. Oh, I got $22 left. Okay. Jokes aside, we don't have any money to spend. I have $22 available on my credit card, and that's it. And that has to last me till I get paid next week. So we're on a tight budget, but I have all of my expenses covered till I get paid again. So that's kind of how I've been doing my budget. Like, I make sure all of the bills are paid until my next paycheck, which is basically living paycheck to paycheck. And then I do have rent I have to pay now. So my mom, for the time being, currently is charging me $500 to stay in the room I've been staying in at my dad's. So staying in the same place, I pay $500 plus utilities. So $500 is not a bad amount, but the utilities for the entire house can range from $300 to $450 a month. So including utilities with rent, that's an expense of like $800 to $950. So that is the other thing that I'm gonna have to consider as well. But all in all, it's still not like a horrendous amount to be paying. But that's a big expense. So that's already, we have 500 plus 200, 500 for rent, 200 for my car insurance, $25 for, I should be writing this down, huh? Should I feel like I should write this down on a notebook, but it's too late. I didn't grab it, so we're just gonna type it. Budget. So income is roughly, and this is why it's hard. I would say roughly before taxes, it would be like $1,500. I would say the cheap, $1,000 to $1,500 a month. Like the lowest amount I've made was $1,000 before taxes. So, but I don't like including the before tax, because your gross pay is not what actually hits my bank account. So I'm gonna say between $800 to $1,200 every 2 weeks is my income. So between 16, that's actually a huge gap though. That's $1,600 to $2,400 a month. Okay, that's just from my job. This is not including YouTube income yet, which I will add. That fluctuates as well. but let's add it. My mom actually made me a whole spreadsheet that I'm gonna put this in at one point. My YouTube income fluctuates, so the least amount I've made, you have to hit at least $100 to get a paycheck from YouTube, and it only comes out once a month. So the most I've made was $700 in 1 month, but the minimum is $100. So that's what I'm putting so far. My job income between $1,600 to $2,400. The YouTube income is between $100 to $700 so far. And then let's go through expenses. Expenses. Make another subheading. Income. Look at me using my notes app perfectly. Okay. Expenses. Car insurance. Insurance. I'm going to round up because it's a little bit over. So I'm going to say 205. We have our phone bill, 25. We have our food. So my food, I want to keep it at 300. I'm going to say 400, which is like 100 a week, because y'all know freaking, what's it called? Why can't I think of what that called? Inflation. I'm going to say between 300 to 400, depending on the month. Gas is typically between 30 to 50 a week. So that would be, I like having like a window, like a range for the budget versus having like a max budget. And then if I don't spend that max, that goes to like savings or whatever. So if I'm spending $30 times 4, it's $120 to $150 a month on gas. What was my other bill? Apple is $10. So, and then rent $500. And then utilities. My utilities are going to range from $300 to $450 according to my mom. So if we add all of that up, that's $800. Well, I don't want to do the max. I think that's already like $1,600 right there. We have 200, 1,000 for, yeah. So all of that, if all of that gets paid, that's $1,600, and that's with zero savings. So now let's look at debt, new subheading. My debt is probably my biggest issue with my budget. So the money I owe right now is going to be Klarna, Zip, Pay. I have something called 4Pay. And then I did have Sezzle and Affirm, but that goes, I feel like those are more like credit card debt than like the pay in full Sezzle. I'm just going to add everything, but I don't want to know all of it. And this one, I'm probably going to go over in another video, the total amount, because I do not currently have a plan to pay that off. But the ones I'm currently pay right now is Klarna, Zip, and 4Pay. So I'll go over those, but then I'm going to have to go over credit card debt in a whole nother video, because it's a lot. And I kind of just don't want to think about it. Credit card. Okay, so Klarna, Zip, Sezzle, and Affirm are all like split payment plans that I feel like it's different from credit cards. So I made a separate section for credit cards that I'm going to have to list down and then look up the balances. But having this out here will also help me just remember I still owe all of this stuff. Amazon, I had a Best Buy, Capital One, Walmart, and Ulta. So I still have 6 credit cards that are closed, but I owe balances on. So we'll go over that one in a different one. But currently I owe Klarna. This is where it's my fault, my overspending. I owe Klarna $763.53, which is a lot of money. So where does that money come from? Where am I getting this money from? What did I say? $763.53. But that's over the next, that's for that gets paid in 6 weeks. So all of that is not what's owed next month. My Zip Pay, I don't owe that much. Let's open it. Let's find it. Zip, I owe wait, no, that's not how much I owe. It doesn't tell you how much I owe total. $145.39. That's not too bad. And then on 4Pay, I did use Zip when I got groceries a while back, so that's a big one and a big part of what I owe. And for my 4Pay, I owe $104.79. So I have about $1,000 I owe in these payment plans, not including Sezzle or Affirm, but that's stuff that I also have to pay out of my paycheck. So where's the money for savings? It's like it doesn't exist. It's almost like it doesn't exist. So currently I have $2,100 saved. That is an account that my mom holds for me. I don't touch it, which I'm grateful for. So, and then basically I'm going to pay her at least until, because right now the money, the Klarna, Zip, and 4 is what should be my savings. So that's $1,000 that I'm paying for frivolous shopping spending that is unnecessary. Now this is where I feel like I take accountability, because I don't think I'm spending as much money as I'm spending, because you go to a store, you pay 1/4 of your total. So it's like, oh, I only spent $25 this week on shopping, but you really just accrued $100 worth of expenses. And I can spend $25 one day and feel like I didn't spend that much money. But it's really $100, and then I spend $25 or $35 another day, but that's really over $100 each time. So it does add up, and I'm trying to break the habit of using those Pay in 4 plans. So my goal is just to get those all paid off and not accrue any more debt with the Pay in 4 plans. And that's going to be challenging for me. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Like, I feel like I'd rather just limit a weekly shopping budget to like $35 a week than spend $25 using Sezzle, because that means I'm really spending $100 that week if I'm paying $25 out of my account. So we're going to try to get these all paid off by the end of, I think I have, my Zip will be paid off by April 4th. My 4Pay, I have until April 11th. And then Klarna, my last payment is April 18th. So if I don't spend any more using Sezzle, Klarna, Zip, I'll have those all paid off by April 18th, which is about a month and a half. So that will be our goal. In the meantime, we probably need to figure out we need a better income. So my expenses right now, not including credit card debt, which is the other elephant in the room, is we have 200, 230, 600, 750, 760. I'm gonna do the max. So the max amount of expenses is $1,710. And if my income, if I don't make more than that, which there's a month on my lowest, I can make $1,600. On my highest, I can make $2,400. That's after taxes. That is the problem. My expenses, not including any of my debt, is already $1,700. So even if I am making $2,400, as y'all can see, that's all going to what I would have left over minus $2,400 is $690 if I made the highest, which is $2,400. But if I do the cheaper budget of the expenses would be saving about another $250 to $300. Like if I only spend $300 on food, or my utilities are cheaper, or I end up spending less on gas, I can save another $300. So my expenses would be about $1,400. So basically, the amount of expenses I have determine how much I can save, but also my income. So, and my YouTube income is not included in that, what I just gave y'all. So the YouTube income is basically what would be going towards savings, or it would be going towards the debt. So currently, because I owe the Klarna, Sezzle, whatever, the money that is not my expenses is going towards that. And then I actually am living on a stricter food and gas budget than the one I'm living on the tighter end of that. So I typically spend between $75 a week on food, and then my gas is about the $30 a week, because I fill up my gas twice. I just put $15 in each time, twice a week, and that's only $30. So that's about $105 I'm actually spending a week, which is closer to my living off of $100 a week. But that also is why the Klarna payments and everything else is where it's at. So I do think there's still room for improvements, but we actually do have an income that could keep up with my necessary expenses. It's just a matter of I have to figure out getting rid of all of having that, also saving, and also paying off debt, because I don't want to have no money saved where I can't do anything, don't have anything saved for like a rainy day. So I wanted to say I want to try starting this month, especially if I have a month where I'm making $2,400, because that extra $1,000 is probably going to all go towards the Klarna, Zip, and 4Pay plans that I still owe. So then my YouTube income is what is going to be my savings for the month. And if I can do that, that actually will save me, would be great. And then on top of that, we are still trying to figure out a second job or a part-time job, but I also am trying to join the worship team at my church to have that as well, which is going to limit my weekend availability, because the services at my church are Saturday and Sunday, which I can maybe just serve every second Sunday or something, or every first Sunday, so it's not every other week. But like I said, it's hard finding other jobs that work around my current work schedule, which is always going to be my main source of income, because I make the most money from my full-time job than I would a part-time. So I don't know. I thought about being a server again. It's like the only jobs that would work with that are like very low paying jobs, where it's like if it's not paying enough that I could work, 10, 15 hours on the weekend, and have an extra like 150 to 200. Like I would have to be making at least 15 an hour, but the jobs that I would be able to do that with are not going to be paying 15. Like retail jobs, when I worked at TJ Maxx, that was 12 an hour. When I worked as a server, it's like my money fluctuated. I had a shift where I made $10 and cried my eyes out. And I talked about being a server was probably the worst experience, one of the worst jobs I had. And it wasn't because you can make a lot of money being a server, but I was not being scheduled fairly, and I also wasn't being given good sections. So my manager didn't like me, so she would put me at she would always cut me first. So there's so much would have to go into about why being a server was a bad experience for me. But essentially I was working horrible shifts where there was no customers, and if I was scheduled a good shift, they always would cut me first. So I would get cut if it was slow, meaning they would send me home after I maybe served 3 or 4 tables, which you're not making $100 off of 3 or 4 tables unless those tables are tipping you $25 each. And so it was just like it was not possible for me to make a good amount of money with the shifts I was getting. And my manager, I do think my manager purposely was giving me bad shifts because they didn't like me and they wanted me to quit, which I did. So that's another story. But we're doing much better now. And it's just, like I said, I really can't figure out if I was still able to do Instacart or Uber Eats. That would have been a good side option for me because I can work around my hours. So maybe if I can find another one, maybe like Amazon Flex. I don't think Amazon Flex is available in my area, but that was another one I was considering. Just like something where I can make my own money by setting my own schedule. So like on a Saturday, I could say like, look, I'll work 3 to 4 hours, try to make $100, do that maybe 2 or 3 days out of the week or after work, and I can make like an extra $200 a week, because ideally I would want to be saving $200 a week, because for those you don't know, if you can save $200 a week, you will have $10,000 saved by the end of the year. Actually, a little over 10,000. Let me make sure I did my math right. 200 times 52 weeks a year. Yeah, $10,400 is $200 a week. Saving $200 a week is what it takes to save $10,000 in a year. So I want to hit that goal, but I also have to pay off debt, and I also can't be spending a lot of money, and I also have to, follow my budget and make sure my income is enough to meet my bare minimum. So what I'm finding out is my bare minimum expenses now is going to be about $1,700. So each paycheck has to be at least, divided by 2, $850. So if I don't make at least $850, y'all, I can't afford all my expenses each month. So knowing that is my minimum helps me a lot with moving forward in the future. And so I feel like this actually clarified a lot for myself. But I hope that you guys enjoy this video. Let me see. If I have $2,100 saved, am I on track? How many weeks has it been? I want to see if I'm on track to save $10,000. I want to see if I'm on track to save $10,000 this year. So how many weeks has it been? One. The weeks aren't also, it's not like the weeks are perfect. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's been 9 weeks. 9 times 200. That means if I'm keeping up with the pace, as long as I have $1,800 in my account, I'm on track to save $10,000 this year. So actually, I'm ahead of that. I have $2,100 saved. So that actually makes me feel a lot better, and I'm just gonna continue. Basically, I send my mom money each week, so I'm gonna make sure I send her the amount for my rent plus the $200 to add to my savings each week, and I'm excited. I want to see $10,000 in my account this year. That is what I'm believing for. That's what I'm going to pray for. And yeah, that's my goal. And then stop using pay in 4 plans. Still working on my spending. I do think I've improved a lot. I know I'm not spending as much as I used to spend. I also am not shopping as much as I used to. So it's here and there, but I'm trying to find new things to keep me busy. So like joining the worship team is something to keep me busy. Trying to find another like small group at my church I can join, so I'm not tempted to keep spending money. On the weekends I can stay busy doing other things. And yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this little financial update. And it also really helped me just see like, okay, as long as I'm making at least $850 each paycheck, I can afford all of my bills. So now we know what our minimum, and that has to be after taxes, is the other problem. So yeah.